they wouldn't have bothered wasting their time. Unexpectedly, these individuals proved useful at this critical juncture. It was a case of planting willows without intending to. Take some of Abdullah's men, for instance. Over 3 mid to senior level operatives with direct access to Abdullah were among them. Get in touch with these individuals and tell them we'll do whatever it takes to help them climb to the top of Yemen, potentially gaining influence within the organization. This way, they can work with us from the inside. Got it? Obama looked at his secretary. The secretary nodded. The fewer people who knew about this, the better. She usually handled the liaison work. What the entire Lighthouse Nation remained unaware of was what they had considered. Zhang Yi had also thought of it. In the Kingdom of Yemen, Black's preparations were complete. He brought his men to find Zhang Yi. Final confirmation of the main tasks for this operation. After receiving Zhang Yi's approval, Black set his plan in motion. Your Majesty, we require a roster containing information on all current mid to senior level personnel. The more comprehensive, the better. Charles. Zhang Yi glanced at Charles beside him. Zhang Yi was an amateur when it came to spies. But he had long anticipated that Black would likely need this information, so he had Charles prepare it in advance. Charles and his team served as the think tank for the Kingdom of Yemen. Handled all matters, big and small. Currently, they handled most matters. After receiving the roster, Black glanced through it. I believe I need to speak with this general, he remarked. He pointed to the photograph in the roster. It's Abdullah. Him? Zhang Yi had his suspicions, but Abdullah had always appeared loyal. For now, it's just a simple interrogation. Black explained. Apart from Alpha, Maxon, and Henry, currently holding the highest position in the Yemen kingdom, it was essential to investigate him, along with anyone who has had contact with him. Zhang Yi summoned Abujal. Without explicitly stating it, he only mentioned that Black was the newly appointed combat commander. Some matters here require verification with Abdullah. Abujal showed no suspicion. Hello. The two exchanged introductions. Zhang Yi arranged a private meeting room for them. Zhang Yi considered listening in, but after a moment's thought decided against it. It wasn't necessary. This kind of work is best left to the professionals. Espionage work. It demands meticulous attention to detail. It's a real brain drain. In the dimly lit, slightly oppressive environment, Abdullah sensed something was off. But he didn't delve deeper into his suspicions. He knew Zhang Yi always handled things with extreme caution. When questioned, he simply assumed Black wanted more details to better handle the job. General Black, you're the most dedicated person I've ever seen when it comes to work, Abujal said half-jokingly. Lightening the mood. Black smiled faintly and replied, my apologies. His Majesty's trust in me is an honor. I wouldn't want to disappoint him, so I take my duties seriously. That's a good thing. Yes. Also, thank you for your cooperation. I now require a list of all your subordinates and your recent schedule. Abujal shot Black a peculiar look. General Abujal, please don't misunderstand. Black began to explain, His Majesty the King has tasked me with compiling an internal domestic dossier. Everyone must be investigated, including Alpha, General Maxon, and others. Oh, I didn't mean it that way. Black's words dispelled Abdullah's suspicions. He readily shared all recent arrangements and itineraries with Black. He also handed over the roster of his subordinates. Next, Black had Zhang Yi send people to assist him, instructing them to conduct a preliminary investigation into these individuals. Simultaneously, he had the latest eavesdropping devices installed in their residences. Installed the latest eavesdropping devices. This type of listening device cannot be detected even by the world's most advanced detection equipment. Over the next few days, everything continued to operate as usual on the surface, appearing perfectly normal. But behind the scenes, the true nature of all personnel within the Hoshi Armed Forces original faction gradually came into focus before Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi instructed Black to provide daily real-time updates on the progress. Any suspicious personnel were subject to intensive investigation. Zhang Yi cared little about external interference, as long as they didn't create a mess internally. Thus, Zhang Yi's directive to Black was clear. Better to kill 1,000 by mistake than let one slip through. Day 4. Black presented the latest findings to Zhang Yi. Your Majesty, after thorough investigation, 3 high-ranking officials are under suspicion, while over 40 mid to lower-level personnel are also questionable. That many? Zhang Yi knew this investigation would uncover many problematic individuals, but he hadn't expected this many. This wasn't child's play. 3 at the top, over 40 in the middle and lower ranks if they're allowed to infiltrate bit by bit and plant their own people. How could that be tolerated? Those with concrete evidence should be executed immediately. Understood. But please grant me 2 more days, no more than 2. I will provide you with an accurate list. Those on it can be executed immediately. We've waited this long already. A few more won't make a difference. Zhang Yi agreed. Black launched the final investigation, conducting a thorough purge across the entire Yemen kingdom. Some people were slow to realize. Gradually, they began to grasp the truth, but it was already too late. On the 3rd night, the list was submitted as requested. Looking at the rankings on the list, Zhang Yi felt a surge of emotion. Some people had actually been swayed by these undercover agents. Wouldn't it have been better to just follow me obediently? No more words. Execution plan. Begin. Chapter 90, Cleaning House. Within the Yi Gate territory. A luxury apartment complex. This was specifically built by Zhang Yi as a residence for soldiers who had distinguished themselves on the battlefield. The specifications were modeled after those of villas. Impressive and luxurious. Those who resided here were no ordinary individuals. And tonight, a storm was brewing. Alpha, Henry, and Black each led their teams toward their respective targets. On the third floor, inside a certain room, after conducting a thorough sweep of the room and finding nothing amiss, he carefully retrieved a confidential document from his briefcase. These documents contained detailed personal information on select high-ranking officials of the Yeoman Kingdom. What use were they? For the upcoming decapitation operation, this list would serve as the book of life and death. As the saying goes, to catch the thief, first catch the king. The value of this list speaks for itself. Not long after, Morris dialed a number. I'll have someone drop the package at the usual spot later. Make sure your people pick it up. Also, I've gained some initial trust from higher-ups and expect to be heavily relied upon in the second half of the year. Don't contact me during this period unless I reach out first. There's a risk of exposure. Understand? The other end only replied with an MM. The call ended abruptly. Morris carefully sealed the package when suddenly the door was kicked open. The loud noise startled Morris. What's that? Don't touch it. Alpha's voice boomed with intimidating authority. Though Alpha usually appeared easygoing in front of Zhang Yi, to outsiders, this was a super soldier whose combat prowess surpassed even the world's elite special forces. Killing people was as easy as slaughtering chickens. While this might be an exaggeration for most, it fit Alpha perfectly. Morris was so terrified he froze in place. He was stunned. Struck dumb as if by lightning, he froze in place, instinctively knowing he was finished. But how did he slip up? He had hidden it so well. Impossible. It couldn't be him. Something else must have led them to him? Hand over what you're holding. Alpha took 3 steps in 2 strides, closing in on Morris. Morris snapped to attention, trying to destroy the evidence. But Alpha kicked him to the ground. The intense pain made it feel like his entire abdomen was about to explode. And that was Alpha holding back. A full force kick would have sent an ordinary person straight to meet the Grim Reaper. While flipping through the personal files of Yaman's upper echelon that Morris had compiled, Alpha asked with a mocking tone, "What's this?" "Misunderstanding. All misunderstandings." Morris gritted his teeth against the excruciating pain, still trying to struggle. "Misunderstanding?" Alpha shook his head. "This guy just won't give up until he sees the Yellow River." "Alright, you're under arrest. Cooperate quietly, and I'll make it quick." Alpha signaled. The escort stepped forward, restrained Morris, and led him away. Alpha's gaze swept around the room. Have the room thoroughly searched. Not a single detail is to be overlooked. Yes. Meanwhile, Black and his team also completed their apprehension smoothly. Overnight, every single person on the list was apprehended without exception. Zhang Yi had intended to execute them. After some thought, he decided to detain them collectively for interrogation first. Who knows? Perhaps something useful might come out of their mouths. The interrogation process still handed over to Black. That night, within the kingdom of Yaman, a major, unannounced transformation unfolded. Zhang Yi couldn't help but admire Black's efficiency. System reward. Guaranteed premium quality. The next morning, Black presented the initial interrogation report to Zhang Yi. Most of these individuals were working for the Lighthouse Nation and Yisili. To Zhang Yi's surprise, there were also undercover agents from other Western nations and even Japan. Changing his perspective, Zhang Yi understood. Why was the Lighthouse Nation dominating Dongzhou's vital resource regions? Was it because other nations didn't want it? No. It's because they lack the strength to stand up to the Lighthouse Nation. If given the chance, do you think they wouldn't vie with the Lighthouse Nation for resources? On the surface, many nations tacitly accept the Lighthouse Nation's hegemony in East Continent. But after this incident, Zhang Yi realized that behind the scenes, many nations were quietly laying their groundwork in East Continent, hoping one day to turn the tables and take control. TSK. Zhang Yi couldn't help but sigh. It must be said that East Continent truly lives up to its reputation as a strategic battleground. Everyone wants a piece of the pie. But now that Zhang Yi has taken charge, their dreams were bound to shatter. Overnight, he purged the ranks. Black had cleared the internal backlog for Zhang Yi. From now on, Zhang Yi could act without restraint. Those with value were kept for further interrogation. Those without value, or who were stubborn and uncooperative, Zhang Yi spared no words with them. If they wished to die standing tall as heroes, Zhang Yi would grant them their wish. Execute them immediately. Meanwhile, the various nations faced the sudden disappearance of their undercover agents, whom they could no longer contact. Initially, they assumed it was merely inconvenient, temporarily out of reach. But as time dragged on, one by one, these nations finally began to panic. The Black House. Obama looked troubled. Still no contact? Yes, they've been out of contact for days now. We dare not reach out too frequently, lest we expose ourselves. Planting spies to undermine the regime from within. It's the best the Lighthouse Nation could come up with. The final, most effective method. But shortly after we finalize the plan here, all the spies and undercover agents over there have gone missing. Let Obama. No. It should be said that the entire upper echelons of the Lighthouse Nation collectively questioned their existence. Exposed? Impossible. The spies they've cultivated are world-class, they couldn't possibly be exposed. Besides, even the best make mistakes. One exposure might be understandable, mistakes happen. But it's impossible for everyone to be exposed en masse in such a short time. That's utterly implausible. Except for the United States. Other nations, upon discovering their spies missing, they're also in a bind. But they dare not investigate the matter deeply. Otherwise, it would be too easy to expose themselves. This led to, for many days afterward, a peculiar atmosphere permeated every nation with spies stationed in the Kingdom of Yemen. In the end, the lighthouse nation was the first to lose patience. Because this incident occurred, their interests suffered the most damage. It nearly rendered their final trump card against the Kingdom of Yemen useless. Obama spared no effort to thoroughly investigate the mole's information. But no matter what they did, their spies vanished without a trace, as if they had never existed. The entire upper echelons of the lighthouse nation were left utterly humiliated. When all other possibilities are eliminated, whatever remains, no matter how improbable, is the truth. But when did the Kingdom of Yemen acquire such a formidable intelligence agency? So powerful that they could wipe out their entire spy network in one fell swoop? As the nation that plays the spy game best, this outcome is utterly unacceptable to the entire lighthouse nation. So frustrating. So damn frustrating. Chapter 91, The Tide Turns. Obama issued a direct order. Mobilize all domestic intelligence agencies to investigate this matter. He still clung to a sliver of hope. At the very least, he demanded to know the truth. If confirmed, the worst-case scenario would mean immeasurable losses for the Beacon Nation. Because cultivating a world-class spy, the effort required goes without saying. Years are a short time frame, many must be trained from childhood. The financial investment alone is astronomical. Moreover, if the lighthouse nation can tolerate these losses, well, that's because they're deep-pocketed. At worst, they can simply bleed their lackeys dry to recoup the costs. Countries like Japan and South Korea are nothing but cash cows waiting to be milked for the United States. But one thing has them panicking. Spies. Key figures who often hold the most intelligence. Once captured, they inevitably face rigorous interrogation. They feared that the Kingdom of Yemen would extract scandalous revelations about the lighthouse nation from the spies during interrogation. This would not only have a massive impact on the entire nation's fate. Nearly all high-ranking officials would likely be implicated in this incident. After all, they knew full well. These high-ranking politicians, whose appearances seemed so polished and impressive, who knows how many sordid deeds they've committed. Furthermore, numerous spies possess intimate knowledge of the lighthouse nation's internal secrets, military, political, and economic. Any single piece of information could have devastating consequences for the lighthouse nation. They simply cannot afford the consequences. Why not demand their extradition outright? Adopt a tougher stance. No matter what they say, they'll have to give us some face, right? A senior lighthouse nation politician lost his composure. Whether from senility or dementia, he shouted it out in front of everyone. Enough, Frankie. Obama motioned for him to calm down. Give them face? The Beacon Nation might hold sway over other countries, with plenty eager to curry favor. But who is it this time? The Kingdom of Yemen. The nation that dared to shoot down an Israeli fighter jet on its Independence Day, in full view of the global audience. No need to think twice. Zhang Yi wouldn't fall for that. Instead, it would only provoke the other side. The worst-case scenario? Both sides go to war. Given the lighthouse nation's current capabilities, conquering the Kingdom of Yemen would be exceedingly difficult. Geographical factors, military factors, international circumstances, and other factors all indicate that the lighthouse nation must not intervene lightly. In such a scenario, it would be a case of killing 1,000 enemies while losing 800 of its own. What good would victory do? And with the Beacon Nation weakened, guess what? Other countries will seize the chance to act against its interests. Moreover, directly demanding the extradition of individuals. This would amount to an indirect admission that the Beacon Nation has planted spies in other countries. Such inherently covert activities brought into the open. Needless to say, it would unleash a torrent of public outrage against the Beacon Nation. Frank was panting with rage. Are we supposed to just swallow our anger and keep quiet? Rest assured, we'll find another way. He felt helpless inside. But as president, Obama knew he had to step up and take charge. Even he was panicking. The situation was truly collapsing. While the land of the free descended into chaos once more, Zhang Yi remained remarkably calm. This was a prime opportunity to establish his authority. It would also serve as a lesson for them. Let the Beacon Nation know that the Yemen Kingdom isn't to be trifled with. Otherwise, they'll all think you're a soft target, poking you every other day. Zhang Yi's hot temper, he'd be better off just declaring war outright. If they really pushed him too far, Zhang Yi has 100 ways to make the lighthouse nation regret it. After all, when it comes to military strategy, Dragon Nation people are forever the world's ancestors. That said, Zhang Yi was genuinely curious how would the lighthouse nation break the deadlock this time. As he pondered his next move, Black entered from outside, bearing news. What is it, Black? Your Majesty, not long ago, you issued a global call for investors and cross-border workers to enter the Kingdom of Yemen. Recently, many have entered the country. After investigating their backgrounds, I've compiled a list of suspicious individuals. Should we take precautions? Yes, absolutely. You're truly professional. Jiang Yi merely intended to purge a wave of spies within the government. But Black had already anticipated this. Though these individuals aren't internal government personnel of the Kingdom of Yamen, if allowed to remain undercover and sabotage from within, the consequences would be equally grave. Especially the entrepreneurs. They could take some money to fund welfare programs. It's easy to gain standing among ordinary citizens. Then, leveraging that position, they could voice opinions detrimental to the Kingdom of Yamen. For those unable to discern right from wrong, they could be swayed. Black launched another operation, this time with greater efficiency. Within just a day and a half, he obtained concrete evidence that certain individuals were spies. In the shadows, arrest operations were carried out. Within the borders of the Yamen Kingdom, apprehending these individuals proved remarkably straightforward. Black brought these individuals before Jiang Yi. Among them was a familiar face. A Westerner named Herx. His identity was that of a wealthy citizen from the Lighthouse Nation. Jiang Yi had even seen reports about him in the newspapers before. The official narrative painted him as a world-class successful investor, a great philanthropist, a super donor, personally aiding global poverty relief organizations with over $2 billion. The charitable foundation established in his name annually provides aid to millions of people worldwide. Many kings and presidents of various nations have extended invitations to him, inviting him to visit their countries, deliver speeches, and the like. Jiang Yi never imagined that all these identities were merely packaging from the Lighthouse Nation. It was nothing short of dramatic. This further exposed the true nature of the Lighthouse Nation. To achieve their goals, they stop at nothing. How should these individuals be dealt with? Black sought Jiang Yi's opinion. Jiang Yi thought for a moment. Detain them for now. These people will be of great use. Jiang Yi had a premonition. We can use these people to our advantage and make things even harder for the Lighthouse Nation. They're too idle. That's why they're stirring up trouble everywhere. Keep them occupied, and they won't have time to harm others. Jiang Yi was, in his own way, contributing to the world. The Beacon Nation probably never imagined. In the past, they were the ones stirring up trouble in other countries. Now the tables have turned. The tables have turned, that's for sure. Jiang Yi could only say that it was all about ridding the people of a menace. It was only right. Arresting these entrepreneurs is different from dealing with insiders. Insiders remain unknown to the outside world. But with these prominent entrepreneurs, it's different. They just vanish without a trace. It inevitably raises suspicions. This incident caused significant repercussions within the Yamen territory, especially concerning a prominent figure like Herx. In the Lighthouse Nation, Yisili, news reached them simultaneously. Even Herx has been arrested? The Lighthouse Nation's high command exchanged wide-eyed stares. Their expressions were nothing short of spectacular. Chapter 92, Bad news keeps coming. And soon, more grim news followed, yet this wasn't what left them most despairing. The most despairing part was this. The investors and multinational workers they had dispatched to sow discord and foment division within the Kingdom of Yamen. One after another, they were arrested. Before their arrests, these individuals received no warning. They were suddenly taken into custody. And they did so without showing any signs of compromise. They were just inexplicably arrested. The sheer strangeness of it all. It's like the Kingdom of Yamen knew every move made by the Lighthouse Nation. Every move they made, the Kingdom of Yamen intercepted. Could Jiang Yi possibly have foreseen this? In desperation, Obama urgently ordered the multinational workers and entrepreneurs he had just dispatched to leave the Kingdom of Yamen. But it was already too late. According to the latest reports, everyone on the list had already been taken into custody by the Kingdom of Yemen. Obama slumped dejectedly in his chair. His eyes no longer held shock, but fear. Yes. As the Beacon Nation, the world's dominant power, the unrivaled supreme leader of the entire globe. For the first time, he felt fear. He began to doubt. Was Jiang Yi even human? Looking at the Zhengdong upheaval, Jiang Yi's emergence seemed nothing short of a miracle. Within mere months, he had led the Hushi forces to grow in strength. He decisively crushed the Yamen government forces. He had thoroughly humiliated Zhengdong's powerful landlords, the Shatsa clan. Even Yisili now falls within their sphere of hostility. The entire Yamen region was transformed by Jiang Yi's arrival. Transformed beyond recognition. A complete metamorphosis. Each of these achievements, taken individually, could be called a miracle. Now, whenever the Lighthouse Nation made a move, Jiang Yi countered it step by step, completely seeing through their tactics, as if he had penetrated the very essence of the Lighthouse Nation itself. Facing such an adversary, how could Obama not feel fear? It's as if a pair of eyes were watching them from behind, making Obama feel utterly uneasy. He paused for over 10 minutes. Only then did Obama pick up the phone on his desk and dial a number. The recipient was President Liu Wen of Yisili. The plan failed again. The man we just sent over was captured too. We don't know how the information leaked. Failed again? Liu Wen experienced the same shock Obama had felt earlier. Yes. Obama was momentarily at a loss for words. The other side seemed to know our every move, always one step ahead. If it weren't for the fact that the Yamen kingdom had only recently been established, he'd almost suspect. Could it be that Yamen had secretly planted spies within their own ranks? Liu Wen's face darkened. His body trembled slightly, his complexion poor. To be precise, ever since the kingdom of Yamen had crushed them several times, leaving them unable to lift their heads, Lu Wen's complexion had scarcely improved. The revolutionary plan has stalled. What's your next move? The so-called revolutionary plan was the Lighthouse Nation's scheme to collaborate with Yisili to sow internal division. Now all the people involved have been rounded up. The plan ended before it even began. We'll have to find other ways. No solution has been found yet. Obama's tone was low and somber, but their foundations remain insufficient. They pose no real threat. Fear? I'm not afraid of them. Those words seemed to ignite Lu Wen's fury. He practically gritted his teeth as he spat them out. Obama. He'd only mentioned it casually. He hadn't expected Lu Wen to react so strongly. It was a bit like drawing attention to something you'd rather keep hidden. Of course. He wasn't foolish enough to step forward and expose Lu Wen. Obama's expression grew grave as he said, "All we know for sure now is that their intelligence capabilities are formidable. We suspect they have an intelligence division internally that rivals our CIA and your Mossad. This is a thorny issue. How is that possible? But they know everything. How do we explain that? Could it be a coincidence?" Lu Wen tried to argue. It can't be coincidence. We cross-checked the list. Every single person on it was apprehended without exception. Do you really think that's a coincidence? Obama had considered it too. The government has only been in place for a short while. They lack governance experience. Their foundation is weak. Their intelligence capabilities are naturally negligible. The outcome speaks for itself. All signs point to one thing. Yemen's intelligence apparatus is terrifyingly powerful, so formidable it rivals their own CIA and Iran's Mossad. CIA, the most powerful intelligence agency in the land of the free. Its mission is to openly and covertly gather and analyze intelligence on foreign governments, corporations, terrorist organizations, individuals, politics, culture, technology, and more. Of course, that's just the surface. Behind the scenes, the CIA also handles all sorts of dirty work and shady dealings. The nature of Mossad's work, similar to the CIA. Both are among the world's most elite intelligence agencies. The intelligence-gathering capabilities demonstrated by the Kingdom of Yemen this time. Without a doubt. It's more than sufficient to rival the CIA and Mossad, and in certain aspects even surpasses them. How the hell did these guys pull it off? Lu Wen couldn't help but join in the angry outburst, venting the fury boiling within him. He couldn't accept that the Kingdom of Yemen, possessing world-class military capabilities, and yet still possessed such a formidable intelligence agency. This is absurd. Could this tiny Yemen kingdom really be about to turn the world upside down? These matters were known only to them now. But what about the future? If word accidentally leaks out, the Lighthouse Nation and Yisili will become global laughingstocks. They're too proud to accept it. No matter what, Lu Wen simply couldn't accept this. All right. Obama forcefully steered the conversation back on track. The main reason I called you in is to inform you that our captured undercover agents embedded in their government, along with some of the recently apprehended Heracles operatives, possess critical intelligence. These matters concern the national security of the Beacon Nation and Yisili. We must first resolve this issue before considering how to deal with them. Ironically enough, in the covert struggle against the Kingdom of Yemen, neither Obama nor Lu Wen ever imagined they'd one day be reduced to the desperate position of playing defense. Bad news kept piling up. Lu Wen felt a sharp headache, nearly fainting from dizziness. Solutions? With matters reaching this critical juncture, what options remained? Only forceful measures could be taken. Did you truly wish to stand by and watch Yemen gradually seize all control over Zhengdong? After all these years of meticulous planning and immense investment in Zhengdong, were we to simply abandon it? Give up? Absolutely not. Lu Wen's passionate tone ignited Obama's resolve. Rest assured, we won't abandon Zhengdong. Yemen has become our top priority now. You understand what I mean? Meaning, the Lighthouse Nation now regards the Yemen kingdom as their #1 enemy. Before this, their primary targets were the Big Goose and the Dragon Nation. Chapter 93, Turning the Tide? I hope you're not just paying lip service. Obama's words finally eased Lu Wen's mind somewhat. At least it showed a stance. With the Lighthouse Nation backing them, Yisili could maintain its hardline stance toward the Yemen kingdom. Otherwise, he doubted whether Yisili could remain under the Kingdom of Yemen's control in Zhengdong. Have any say at all. Obama assured him, rest assured, that won't happen. You know how crucial Zhengdong is to us. Lu Wen understood this point well. A Lighthouse Nation without Zhengdong would be like a tiger stripped of its teeth and claws. Oh, right. Lu Wen suddenly recalled something. Hadn't the other side taken hostages to negotiate with you, demanding concessions for their release? No. Obama flatly denied it. Well, if that were the case, it would be simple. The solution would be straightforward. But the problem is, Yemen hasn't made a single move. It seems they have no intention of negotiating. Obama remains concerned about that issue. The Kingdom of Yemen will extract those top-secret, untold intelligence from the spy's mouth. All right, this is hard to explain over the phone. Later, I'll organize a joint meeting. We can discuss together how to handle this matter. All right. Lu Wen agreed. The call ended. Both sides made their preparations. That evening, the Lighthouse Nation established a temporary platform via a dedicated network for the joint conference. About 20 people participated. Representing the Lighthouse Nation were high-ranking officials led by Obama, alongside senior figures from Yisili. To enhance meeting efficiency, Before the meeting commenced, the senior officials from both nations were briefed on the main agenda items. The meeting commenced. After brief opening remarks, Obama addressed the assembly. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions or opinions at this time, please feel free to voice them. I will take them all into consideration. A senior official from Yisili, named Signins, spoke up. Mr. Obama, I have an idea. Oh? Please share it. Xiong Muzi was someone he knew. He was one of the core figures in Yisili's crucial think tank. In earlier years, he had served as Yisili's second-in-command. His status was extremely high. Now he's in a state of semi-retirement yet still wields considerable influence. Given the gravity of this matter, Lu Wen thought it best to involve him as well. Qiang Musu smiled maliciously. Since things have reached this point and are beyond redemption, why not go all out? Obama's eyes darted around his head. I don't get it. What I mean is, they've even arrested a public figure like Herx. If we report this extensively, it will definitely attract major global attention. We need to stir up the people worldwide to condemn Yemen together. If they don't give us an explanation, they won't have it easy. Obama thought the other had some clever plan up his sleeve. Hearing this, he was disappointed. This won't work. Hercules was arrested because his work for us was discovered. Obama explained. Oh? Xiong Musu chuckled again. Can't we just deny it? If they suspect us, even if it's true, we can simply insist they're slandering us. And even if they have solid evidence can be fabricated, can't it? Obama was a clever man. In Xiong Mushi's view, this was a case of being wise all one's life, yet foolish for a moment. Aoba's mind went blank for a moment. Then something clicked. Xiong Musu decided to lay out his plan in detail. The crucial issue now was this. The Yemen kingdom hadn't just captured Heracles. They'd also detained other multinational workers, entrepreneurs, and investors they'd sent there. All of them were detained. They could easily use this to stir up propaganda, denouncing the Houthi dictatorship and economic hegemony, exploiting their dominance to seize foreign capital. The influx of foreign capital itself, accelerating Yemen's economic development. It would have led Yemen's people toward prosperity and strength. But Jiang Ye's actions will lead to domestic chaos. It would sever Yemen's economic lifeline and hinder its development. There are precedents to learn from. In the future, which investors worldwide would dare to venture into the kingdom of scams to invest? Who wouldn't fear being fleeced? At the same time, it would cement Jiang Ye's reputation as a tyrant, a king, short-sighted and unfit for leadership. He wouldn't believe Yemen could ever prosper again. Yemen's territory is vast, but it falls far short of the Dragon Nation's vast land and abundant resources, which allow for self-sufficiency in most areas. Most sectors seeking development. It must rely on cooperation with other nations and investment from entrepreneurs. Obama. All the other high-ranking officials, as if enlightened, revealed expressions of sudden realization. Qiangmus, your approach is quite sound. Obama acknowledged. This plan strikes at the very heart of the Yemen kingdom's lifeline. It strikes back at Yemen economically. Playing strategy games with them? Yemen is still too green. They would make Jiang Yi understand. The lighthouse nation had maintained its position as the world's dominant power for over 2 centuries, and for good reason. The lighthouse nation, Yisili, began covert operations. They gathered evidence of all arrest operations conducted by the Yemen government forces within Yemen's borders. They transmitted the materials back to their homeland. The news department processed, reviewed, and approved the materials. After completing the entire process, the lighthouse nation and Israeli authorities simultaneously released these reports. To maximize the news's reach, Yisrael even leveraged its formidable control over public discourse. Over 1,000 public media outlets worldwide, along with countless private media sources, launched an overwhelming, frenzied propaganda campaign. Everywhere you looked, explosive headlines about the Kingdom of Yemen dominated. Yemen Kingdom openly arrests large numbers of foreign investors. Is this banditry? Preparing to seize assets? Dictator, terrorist. How is this any different from banditry? Major shift, Yemen Kingdom braces for new media storm. King of Yemen Kingdom short-sighted? With foreign firms seized and executives arrested, has Yemen Kingdom truly advanced civilization? The Kingdom of Yemen, a bandit gang disguised as a nation, a terrorist organization. All kinds of propaganda. The more severe the narrative, the better. Some even deliberately label the Kingdom of Yemen as a terrorist organization, stripping it of its statehood. Regarding this matter, the lighthouse nation, in alliance with Italy, symbolically issued a stern condemnation before the world. Then, with full justification, they imposed economic, military, and trade sanctions on Yemen. Watching the overwhelming propaganda flood the internet, Obama finally breathed a sigh of relief. Finally. For so long, they'd been led by the nose by Jiang Yi. Now they finally stood their ground and gained the upper hand in the situation. It had been ages since he'd received such welcome news. Unlike the previous rounds of propaganda wars, this time, Yisili mobilized a massive force, deploying nearly all their resources in this area. Chapter 94, just that little trick. The truth came out. Capitalists worldwide gradually grew alarmed, sensing something was amiss. Across the entire world, no country dared to treat foreign investors this way. Not even the United States. They treat the vast majority of companies with courtesy and respect, because this brings development and prosperity to their nations. Yet the Kingdom of Yemen openly suppresses foreign investors and multinational employees from other countries. This is a blatant message to the world. Is the Kingdom of Yemen declaring it welcomes no investors and accepts no investments